Welcome back to the Local Footy Show, and Benny, one of the local teams making a difference further afield.
Yes, the TIWI Islands Grand Final was quite different because it had a Melbourne flavour. The Lilydale Football Club have been able to take the youth of their club to the TIWI Islands for a football and cultural experience. But how did it all begin?
Was 4 years ago. We took a bunch of boys just on a camping trip to central Queensland, and we pulled into a town, a remote town, Cunnamulla. One of the boys, he was 13 at the time, didn't really want to get out of the bus. He was scared of the Aboriginals. Asked him why. He said, you can't look at them, they might hurt you. So basically I said, oh mate, that's not true.
And it was late at night and there was lots of Aboriginals around, and I hadn't really had much experience around any Aboriginal communities before, so I was pretty scared, and I refused to get off the bus, and I just said I'm not getting off the bus. And Timmy talked me into getting off the bus and getting me to getting off and feeling safe. And yeah, and it wasn't until 2-3 years later, when these trips actually started up, that I found out that I was the reason why they started.
So what did you feel about that?
I felt pretty special. I felt that it's helped a lot of other kids understand what it's like in the Aboriginal communities, I guess, and they can feel like what I felt, that it was just a different scene, and yeah, feel different.
Graham, what did you think when Tim first told you that your son wouldn't get out of the bus?
Probably a little bit bemused, because Mitch is a pretty friendly sort of a kid. He interacts a lot with other kids, and he's can be a bit shy, but I think just being shy and just completely different culture, and virtually completely different place, so he's out of his depth a bit.
6 months later, I was at the top end of Western Australia working on a house in Wyndham, sitting there at the end of the day looking at the Port Wyndham Crocs football oval, and I thought, how good would it be to bring up a bunch of boys up here to play a full Indigenous team? So I rang the president of the footy club there, and that's when it started. We
played against the senior team, and the boys we took up were under 17s, and they, to recruit a few extra members to make up a side, they went to the local lock-up and recruited a few of the local inmates, which they got about half a dozen to 8 of them, and got them down to fill in and make the side up.
Was it a safe environment?
Yeah, well, there was one of the guards was a goal umpire, and the other one sat in the bus, and the local policeman sat out in the roadside. But yeah, no, it was fantastic, and everybody enjoyed it. It was fantastic, it really was. We got invited back to the swimming pool, and the parents, we sort of walked in last, and the kids were in the pool, and they were playing piggyback race, or having piggybacks and shoulder rides, and it was absolutely fantastic. The kids were all just intermingling and just having a fantastic time.
At first you get nervous, and then, yeah, I guess you warm up to it, and you realise that it's just like every other community, but no one sees it much because it's pretty closed and not spoken about much.
From there we got an invite from the TIWI Islands, a bloke by the name of John O'Mullins, who said, would we be interested? He'd heard about what we'd done, and he said, would we be interested in getting a group of boys under 17s to come to the TIWI Islands and play the curtain raiser to their TIWI Islands Grand Final? So we took the offer up, went to the club, went to the parents, went to all the kids and said who'd like to come, and we were swarmed by kids wanting to go. And it was all about, Ian, not so much a football match, it was interaction and an educational program that we wanted to get started. And so that was 1 year. This year again we've gone there, we've taken another bunch of kids coming through from our 17s. So far, mate, it's all been fantastic, and the kids are learning a lot. They're realising that they're just another bunch of kids that just want to play sport.
The TIWI Islands is only open 1 day a year, where you don't have to put an application or get a permit to actually go onto the island. So to actually have the privilege of actually going onto TIWI Islands and actually playing a game of footy with a group of kids, it was fantastic, and for their grand final it was a fantastic occasion.
The interaction on the islands is second to none, I believe. It's incredible how much the island people, the Indigenous people on the TIWI Islands just welcome our boys, and our boys are learning so much about interaction, and they're just other people. not this them and us sort of stuff. And this is what we wanted to try and knock on the head, you know.
How welcome do you feel?
You feel very welcome. Like, when you get in there, lots of elders come up to you, and all the kids, they run up to you, and if you have a football, it's just like being at home. You just want to play football. It's just like everyone else.
It was amazing. Like, words couldn't even explain like what you feel when you arrive on the TIWI Islands. You step off, you look at there's kids running everywhere. They've got footies, they've got Coke bottles, they're kicking Coke bottles around as their football. It's just amazing, the atmosphere as soon as you get off. And we all share the love for footy. It's better than AFL. Their quality of football, how hard they go for the ball, everything just makes our football look sloppy. The skills they have is amazing. Just the run, the non-stop run, the run and carry, the tackle, they just give everything.
Football on TIWI Islands, it's like watching 36 Seriolis running around. It's just amazing.
Really, educational-wise, those kids have come back smarter kids, and they've the bigger picture. So when you've got kids down here, well, when I say got kids down here don't get to see that side of the Indigenous culture. So just by that 2 or 3 days we spent on the islands and all that sort of stuff, they've grown in leaps and bounds. So, you know, the kids, to me, they've come away with a total different outlook on everything. You know, their attitude's different, the whole lot. We're going to make it an annual thing every year. The TIWIs want us back every year. There's medallions, there's a trophy handed out to the winning side. But at the end of the day, like I say, it's not so much about a football match. It's more interaction. You know, our boys this year even took their boots off and played in bare feet to see what it was like. You know, and they realised, whoops, at 3/4 time, let's get our boots back on. You know, when we're over at the TIWIs, we supply the food after our game for all the kids on the islands and our kids. And it was funny, we've got some footage of that, of the kids lining up. It was like a snake of about 1 kilometre long of all the Indigenous kids, you know, Aboriginal kids, lining up for steak, chicken and all that. It was fantastic, you know, but it's part of it, you know. We don't go up there to try and do that to say, look at us, it's just what we do. It's really a great thing.
They'd be just like normal kids, be lining up for seconds, wouldn't they?
They were exactly. Seconds, thirds, whatever, you know, it's fantastic.
All fundraising's actually done independent within the group of kids. We struggle and we run to a pretty tight budget, and it challenges a lot of sausage sizzles and trying to drum up sponsorship from local businesses and things like that, so virtually grab whatever we can. The
parents supply the money, or they put the money up for their kids. This year it was $1,200 each.
What about the recognition that the elders up there?
Well, the recognition from them was fantastic. You know, this year they got the young kids to make armbands for us. They got medallions for the winning side. They actually had us on the loudspeaker, whereas the year before it wasn't so much, but they've realised that this is a great thing. And they're recognising that we want to try and educate our kids as well.
To see the different communities and how these young Aboriginal boys and girls, how they are in the communities there, when you leave home and you see your kids have got the PlayStations and bits and pieces, the kids up there have got very little things, and I seem to think that we overcomplicated our lives a little bit, and to see that they're twice as happy, 10 times as happy. They've got a Coke bottle and kicking it around, and just having fun doing whatever. And our kids could actually interact with them. And as soon as you pick up a footy, you've got about half a dozen kids coming around and want to do speckies on you. And it was fantastic. It really was.
They loved it. They have nothing over there, and just the thought of giving them a football, which they kick Coke bottles around, so giving them a football and giving them something they can actually use was amazing.
It's the best experience in life. It's like once in a lifetime experience for lots of people, and I've been lucky enough to go on twice, and it's been both different experience both times, and it's lots of fun.